In what was arguably the biggest duel of the NCAA wrestling season to this point, Oklahoma State was able to defeat Iowa 27-12, winning 7 of the 10 matches to get the victory. It was a battle between number 2 Oklahoma State and number 3 Iowa. So what I'll do is I'll go through match by match results and then play some clips that were put up on Twitter by Flow Wrestling's account just to kind of show what happened. But at the start, Nick Piccinini beat Spencer Lee. The match was 1-0 at the time of the pin, so 0-0 after 1. Spencer Lee deferred in the second period. Pitch decided to take down, got an escape after, I think, about 1 minute and 22 seconds. And then at the end of the period, with about 5 seconds left, he caught him in a cradle and pinned him at the edge of the mat. Dayton Fix beat Austin DeSanto 2-0. Got an escape in the second period and then rode him out in the third. Cade Brock beat Max Murin 8-6. Fairly controlling win there. It was a fairly close match, but Brock was able to edge him out there. Pat Lugo beat Caden Diofeller 7-4. Caleb Young beat Wyatt Sheets 9-5. Alex Marinelli. Actually, just to go to the dual score, just kind of show how this worked out. So it was 6-0 Oklahoma State after 25, 9-0 after 33, 12-0 after 41. Lugo gets the win, so now it's 12-3. Young gets the win, now it's 12-6. Marinelli gets the win, now it's 12-12. So now you got 4 matches left. 3 of the 4 you would figure that Iowa had a decent chance, and then you'd figure Mitch Bowman might at least be able to keep the match close to 74, but Bowman ends up getting pinned by Chandler Rogers at 74. Jacob Smith beats Cash Wilkie. Wilkie's unable to take him down. Smith got a few takedowns. Weigel beats Warner. Again, Warner's unable to take down Weigel. Had some trouble getting off bottom. And then Derek White at heavyweight was able to get a late takedown early on and then was able to beat Sam Stoll 3-1. So to go through the clips on Flow, this is just a clip early on, just of Austin DeSanto being introduced. So the point being that DeSanto got booed, and obviously Austin DeSanto is not the most popular guy ever anywhere but Iowa, it seems. This was the Dayton Fix, or the end of the match with Dayton Fix, where he gets his hand raised. So Galgaraibo, which had sold out with, I believe, 13,800 people. Everyone was very happy about that. A little clip of Cade Brock taking down Max Murin. This, I believe, is Brock's first ranked win of the season. Murin's also been struggling to beat someone with a ranking on him, too. So not great for him. Seems like it'll be interesting for Iowa to determine if they want to go with Murin or if they want to go with Vince Turk at 41, just based off the trouble that Murin's had late in the season. But they've got a couple weeks to figure that out before Big Tens and decide who they're going to put in that draw. Here's Alex Marinelli tying it at 12. Looks like Iowa had a chance to come back here, even after the disastrous start, including the pin against Spencer Lee. Then Chandler Rogers gets the pin right back. Does a big celebration. Apparently what they are thinking about doing at OSU is they're going to move Joe Smith down from 74 and move Chandler Rogers up from 65. So heading into the meet, it looked like Chandler Rogers was supposed to face Alex Marinelli, a match he probably would have lost. Instead, he gets to move up and face an unranked guy in Bowman and is having some fun. And they don't have anything from Wilkie Smith, but here's Preston Weigel riding out Warner at the end to seal the win. And then, yes, it was 13,811 people had sold out. This picture, which I'm sure we're seeing a lot of people don't like Austin DeSanto. And so this picture is a very enjoyable picture for them because he's obviously looking kind of helpless here. He's getting ridden out. As far as whether or not it's illegal, I'm pretty sure it's illegal to kind of have a bit of a chokehold like that. It's not as though Austin DeSanto was ever close to getting choked unconscious, but even still, it's not something you're supposed to be able to do. So hopefully the next time they meet, that doesn't happen. I did read online that there were some people who thought that if these guys do meet in the NCAA tournament, that DeSanto isn't going to choose bottom, that he would just choose neutral instead. And this was just for him to get a chance to feel what it's like to be underneath Dayton Fix. I don't know whether or not that's true. Ideally, you'd like to be able to choose bottom and get the escape point if you can do it, but wasn't able to do it in this match and ends up losing 2-0. So an escape and then a riding time point. And then there was also a clip of the pin of Spencer Lee from Nick Piccinini that I want to make sure to include. So that's just a picture of Pitch getting the pin on Spencer. And here it is. 138,000 views. Just takes him down at the edge, gets him in the cradle. Quick pinfall. So as far as what this is going to do for rankings or as far as rankings are concerned, I think the biggest one here is going to be the Nick Piccinini win over Spencer Lee, because now it puts into question whether Pitcher or whether Sebastian Rivera deserves the 1 seed. Now after Big Tens, that could go a long way in determining it. If Spencer Lee is able to avenge his loss to Sebastian Rivera, and Rivera has a loss, Lee has 2 losses, and Pitch is undefeated, you probably have to put Pitch at number 1. At that point, Bresser. I'm not sure if Bresser has a loss this year or not. If not, then Bresser could potentially slide in at number 2 at that point. But either way, now with Bresser, Piccinini, Rivera, and Lee, all of a sudden in a weight where heading into the season it looked like everyone had fled up to 133 to avoid Spencer Lee, and it was just going to be a walkover for Lee. Now it looks like the semifinals are going to be very interesting, and that's assuming that everyone gets through the semis, because there are some guys at 25 who are starting to make some noise here. I don't think anyone expected this out of Nick Piccinini. He lost 2 matches that weren't terribly close to Spencer Lee last year, including one in the NCAAs where he just got run through. So for him to not give up a point in the first period, be able to escape from Spencer Lee to get the point, and then be able to pin him late in the second, that shows a lot for him. And Lee's going to have some adjustments to be making if he wants to see a better result at the Nationals. For 133, Dayton Fix and Steven Miocic aren't going to get a chance to go against each other. So at this point, it looks like Miocic is going to get the number 1 if he wins Big Tens. Fix will get the number 2. And then DeSanto and Siriano are going to have a chance to fight it out for who gets a shot at that number 3. And it'll be interesting to see how that works out, or if anything happens with Mickey Philippi where he can slide in. I don't think at this point he can. I think at this point he's pretty much going to be behind both Siriano and DeSanto, but it'll be cool to see how everything works out after Big Tens. Not sure there's a whole lot to learn at 41 on the national scene. For Pat Lugo, this is big for him from a seeding standpoint. Big Tens is still going to be important for him, but for him to get a win over Gefeller, that should help out a lot in terms of getting him a more favorable seed. Nothing really here for Caleb Young. Nothing from Alex Marinelli, for Chandler Rogers. I mean, a win over Bowman, it's a win at 74, but he's going to have to, if he is going to be the official 74-pounder now, he's going to have to do most of his work in the Big 12 tournament to actually earn a good seat at the national tournament. For Cash Wilkie, tough loss against Jacob Smith. Helps Jacob Smith to get the win. Wilkie, you would have liked for him to do a little bit better, but again, he'll have a chance at the Big Ten tournament, unfortunately for him, because there's a lot of good 97s there for him to, there are a lot of good 84s there for him to potentially get some upsets and earn himself a better seat. He did have that win over Venz, which should help, but losing to Smith isn't going to be very, very good for him. Jacob Warner, seems like he's able to beat Willie Miklas. Some of the other top guys, not so much. So the loss to Weigel isn't going to be very good for him. Hopefully he can have a better showing at the Big Ten tournament and still preserve a favorable seed. But at this point, he could have a pretty tough tournament ahead of him after this loss to Weigel. And then Sam Stoll, I don't know why they're saying number 2 for Sam Stoll. I think Stoll is ranked around number 8. But White's a guy who he beat last year. Now, granted, White has put on some muscle since then, but it seems like a mix of both Derek White getting better this year, but also Sam Stoll not being as good, whether that's still an issue with his knee injury, whether it has something to do with the knee that got shot, or if there's some other issue at play here that's causing issues for Sam Stoll. But this hasn't been the season that was expected of him. And so, again, Big Ten is going to say a lot about where he's going to be seated. A guy who's expected to be a shoo-in for an All-American right now, from a seeding standpoint, isn't even expected to be, might not even be expected to be top 8 anymore. So hopefully for him, in the couple weeks he gets between now and Big Ten, he'll be able to heal up a little bit and get into a better space mentally and physically. And then in the week and a half after that, hopefully he'll be ready to go at Nationals and put on a good performance.